An emergency fund is the foundation of good financial planning. If you don't have cash on the sidelines, it's going to be really hard to face difficulties that come down the line. Most people are confused of really what the goal of an emergency fund is. So some common use cases are loss of a job, right? So you work, you get fired, you have a period of time where you don't have another job. Another one could be a big expense with your house. It could be your medical deductible. Maybe you have a high deductible and something big came about this year. It could be a whole list of unexpected items that could come up. Way too many people choose to not have an emergency fund and they end up investing those dollars. But what ends up happening is we're in a recession, they get laid off, and they end up having to sell their investments when they're down 20 or 30% just to have funds available to cover the things that they need to cover. You never want to become a forced seller with your investments, which is why having an emergency fund can make a lot of sense. We all hear the rule of thumb of you should have anywhere from 3 to 6 months of expenses built up. And I think this is a pretty good general rule of thumb, but this needs to be applied to your specific situation based on what you have going on. Some of the people who might fit in the 3-month bucket are a tenured professor, for example. So you work at a university, you're a tenured professor, you know that your income is going to be really safe. Well, hey, 3 months might make more sense for you because now you're only really protecting against things at your home, car, medical, etc. If you rent, if you lease your car, if you have a newer house that probably won't have as many big expenses come up, if you are single and don't have any kids and have a safer job, that's another really good example of a situation where you might only need 3 months. Now, moving on to who should have 6 months. The type of people who should have 6 months are typically if you have kids. If you have a bunch of kids and you have a bunch of expenses that could pop up and maybe one ends up needing private school, it could be helpful to have extra money there. Another would be if you're married but you just have one income, right? If that one income is lost, you're gonna have no income, and the average time it takes to find a new job is somewhere between 3 to 6 months. So you might wanna have more on the upper side of this. Maybe you have a low risk tolerance and you're very worried about things. Having 6 months can make sense for you. Now let's move to beyond 6 months, so somewhere between 6 to 9 months. This is typically the sweet spot for business owners, right? There are plenty of situations where your business might slow down. You might need to hire and pay yourself less. Those are really good situations. Another one is you are paid via commission. So, hey, I'm a salesperson. All of my income is paid via commission, and there's periods of time where I make a lot and there's periods of time where I might make zero, and I want to make sure that we have enough in a cushion here where I can weather some of those bad months. The other times where you might want to have above 6 months are you have a really old house. This is a situation where, hey, we have a lot of things to fix up per year. Maybe we live in Boston and we had to buy a house in the 1800s. And so having a lot of extra cash might be helpful. Now let's move on to 12 months. So 12 months is getting to be quite a lot. There aren't very many situations where I feel like 12 months are warranted, besides maybe early retirement and, hey, we don't really know what's going to go on. We have a bunch of things that we might want to get done. I want to be able to make sure that I can weather a down market. So having 12 months of cash could be good. Another one is you're just starting a business. So let's say you're leaving your corporate job, you're launching your business, and you think it could take you a while to build up. This is a situation where you might want 12 to even 24 months. The number one reason why businesses fail is because they don't have enough cash flow to weather the beginning periods of time of building the business. So the best thing that you can do is build up enough cash flow to weather that period of time to make sure you can get through it, to build your client base or sell more products and get to the point where you can actually start to pay yourself an income. So to recap, 3 months is more about safety, simplicity. If you have a safe job, if you don't have kids, if you lease, if you rent. 6 months is probably your normal, typical family. They have one income, they have a few kids, they own a home, they own their cars, and things can pop up. Above 6 months is really looking at business owners, people who are paid via commission, all of those situations where you don't have regular income, especially when all the income is coming from one individual person if you're a family. Take some time to think about your situation, think about your risk tolerance, think about your income, think about the deficit that you'd have if you lost one of your incomes, and come up with the right right number for you, and then put these dollars in a high yield savings account so they're not just sitting at Chase getting no yield. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and go subscribe to my channel for more personal finance content. And as always, please leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I promise to get back to every single one of them. We'll see you back next week.